Okay, so just one thing before we start this podcast, we have to apologise.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You apologising, Lucian?
Yeah, I am. It's my fault.
Louis fucked up.
I did.
The thing is with this console thing we've got, it has like a green light and a red light, and it's super confusing for someone like Louis.
Yeah, because green means go, man.
Yeah, so he pressed record but didn't press record, so it was probably recording a bunch of bullshit before. So we're sorry, the audio is not going to be great. It's just coming straight off a fucking phone camera. So that'll be like the most of the start of the episode. But apart from that, I hope you enjoy. Thanks.
Yeah, that's right. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Kroc-D. I'm not going to fucking spell it again, man.
KROC hyphen D.
Hyphen D.
Yeah, go check out Kroc-D. Get some dope shirts. Like they do some really cool shit.
We'll have new threads in the next few weeks.
Big supporters of the hip hop scene in Perth, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
Also, by the way, we got a show coming up with JB.
on
the 14th. I think it's 14th of April, but we'll put a link in for the event page when it's up. We'll put that in the description. And we've also got a couple of shows coming up we're going to announce real soon. Another thing, guys, if you want us to mention your shows on
Gigs,
the podcast, which we absolutely will, we have a Bear Trap Gig Guide page group that's now up on Facebook. So go and join that, post in all your gigs, and we'll try and support as much as we can. Anything else you'd like to say?
Nah, man, from fucking Bear Trap and Lucy in Black, we're out.
No worries. Thanks. We'll get right into it. Cheers.
Hello, welcome to the Bear Trap Podcast. I'd like to introduce our guest for today. Hold tight because this is LG's favourite rapper, Elliot Ness.
Tip with the bars, don't stutter. Stick with the stars, so gutter. Stay on the bread like butter. Say it with your chest, don't mutter. Sip no tea, no cuppa. Had to cut a Judas out like upper. Now it's just me and my dons at supper. Busting the scene like we had no rubber. Look at their team like nada. They can't fuck with us. Spit a few bars, there's not enough. What they arcing up, they ain't half of us. They flipping a Honda, I flipping and Tundra. We posting a double up. Man wanna raise the bar, better double up. Man wanna gloat about grows, better double up. Man wanna talk about show flows to O's and think that they doubled us, double fuck. Double up.
Yo, what's going on? Hold tight, Elliot Ness. You already know.
How are we, brother? How you been?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad at all. Just fucking came back from New Zealand about a week or two ago, so just finding my steps again, and then, usual shit.
No, that's awesome, man. I've been watching a bit of your socials, man, and you've been getting up to a bit of fun. Explain to everybody, about the Zorbs.
Oh, right, yeah. So I got a few messages of the Zorbing video. So essentially, me and my missus went to New Zealand. We went to a place called, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, a place called Rotorua, I believe.
Rotorua.
There you go. See, I've been there and I still can't pronounce it properly. But, so essentially they just put you in like a giant hamster ball, and it's completely made out of plastic, add a bit of water in there, and they just push you off a fucking hill. And I saw that.
Very violent.
Oh, it is. It's like, I've got videos of it. Me and my missus on my
Elbows
story.
flying
Yeah,
everywhere.
bro. Like we're just like ragdolling through this thing.
I saw the video and you're like, you look like you're tensing to try and stop your arms swinging around real hard.
You can see me like smiling, enjoying it, but at the same time my body's like in shock. We're like, oh fuck, we're
Where's
about to
my
hit
leg
something.
going to go?
Yeah.
Where's my arm going to... I watched it like 10 times. I thought it was fucking hilarious, eh? Do you trying to keep a straight face as well as not getting kicked in the face?
Yeah, it's that grey area where you want to look like you're having fun, and you also want to look like you're somewhat serious while doing it. But at the same time, you're getting thrown around like a rag doll. So I'm just like,
Did you just film it on your phone? Or
yeah, just held my phone out and just did it, and then like,
How good is it? Phones are waterproof nowadays.
Mine wasn't, but hence like the serious face. I'm like, don't drop it. But like, yeah,
Tensing just to not drop the phone.
yeah, straight up, my arm was like, like that. But
That's
it
gold.
was good
That's
fun.
fucking gold.
And you also did a bit of bungee jumping while you're there.
Yeah, so my missus, a bit of adrenaline junkie, kind of just really wanted me to do it, and then I've got like my diving
Fuck
certificate. Oh yeah, bro, fuck that, 100%. I would not do it again. But she twisted my arm. The deal was I've got
a sound effect for this.
Yeah, that was basically me shitting myself.
That
on the
took
way
me
down.
ages to set up too, so... alright.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so long story short, I made a deal with my missus. She hates the ocean, so I was like, if you get your diver certificate, I'll go bungee jump because I fucking hate falling like everybody else
And
does.
immediately regretted that decision.
Oh yeah, because she was game, and I was like, fuck, like I didn't expect it to be like, yeah, we'll do
Comes
it.
home and goes, what's this? My license?
Yeah.
So you're a diver as well, eh?
So like I've got my diving certificate. Like, I went to Bali a couple of years ago, and then it's so close to Perth. That
You
I was
love
like,
travelling, eh?
Yeah, no, straight up. I mean, been blessed to be able to do it at like a relatively early age. I went to the mines and did the whole FIFO thing when I was like 18, 19. Absolutely fucking hated it. Like, the money's good, but like the lifestyle's not for me. Anyway, with that money though, apart from being a dumb 18-year-old and spending it like at the bar,
As you do.
a little bit, I'd say a little bit, but a fair bit of that money went to just me going traveling for the first time by myself. So I went to Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos when I was like 18 by myself.
Wow.
And then ever since then, I just, every like 2 or 3 years, I love going back to Southeast Asia. Built a bit of a community over there. I say I built. I was part of a community over there.
You started a village.
Oh,
You're
bro.
their king.
Well, fuck.
It's called Nessville.
Yeah, oh, bro, I wish. Fucking. So one of the things is I've got my ESL, which is like English second language ticket. So essentially, I can teach English as a second language to people.
So you go over there and work.
Yeah. So I go over there and
Oh,
work.
wow.
So part of it is like I like to keep fit, do like the Muay Thai thing over there, as everybody
Fuck,
does.
yeah.
And then other than that, I work at a either at a charity or orphanage or school. Schools pay the most. Like they don't pay. No one pays you great. You're not there to earn money, but like
You're
so-
there just to have enough money to get by.
Yeah, essentially, and like they house you and shit. So for about at least when I was like 18, my first time over there, I worked in a orphanage, like just helping these kids, and then building a room as well for like another school. And yeah, a lot of that work was just like either teaching the kids or literally just like what do you call it, flattening the earth, and then just like building foundations for them to like build like actual wall classrooms and shit.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
Sick.
that's awesome,
Yeah.
man. That's
Oh well,
How
gotta
old
have a
are you,
hobby.
bro?
So I'm 26 now. I had to think about that. So yeah,
Fuck,
26
yeah,
now.
it's funny how the older you get, you have to start to really go, how old am I?
At least you didn't hit me with like the fucking Kevin Hart, like, oh damn, like that would have.
What year were you born? No, so like you've
No
got
comment.
a lot of life experience for someone who's 26. Like if you think about Perth, especially like rappers in Perth, most of them have never even left Perth.
Yeah, well, part of that is like I caught the travel bug early when I was like 16. I worked like about 2.5 summers for like something called like World Challenge.
yeah, I've heard of that.
It's good. So well, it's the idea behind it, really good idea. So essentially, I was like, execute. You pay essentially you pay $6,000, and then they take students from like first world countries, and they put you in like third world countries for about a month. First week you're there, you're just trying to climatize. Second week you're doing a bit of walking around, trekking. Third week you're doing like humanitarian work, and then the fourth week's like relaxation. I worked like 2 summers and then earned enough, and then obviously my parents, me being 16 and only working at fucking KFC, could not cover the $6,000.
No.
Yeah.
So I was blessed enough to be to my mom and my dad just to like throw in a bit of coin
Help
as
you
well,
out, yeah.
help me out. Went over there, and it completely changed my perspective on things in life, man. Like when I was like,
Understanding the world around you and stuff.
well, like you said before, when people from Perth, we kind of have this mentality of like Perth is like its own. We're so isolated from everywhere else
Yeah,
in the world. We have this
definitely.
own like mentality that even like, and by no means I'm not saying that I grew up rough, because I didn't. But like we've all been dumb. We've all done dumb shit in our lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
That all changed for me when I went to Cambodia the first time, and like
And
I
saw
saw.
what rough is.
Yeah, oh fuck yeah. So one of the first things I saw was a lot of these kids at this orphanage we were working at like were missing like arms and limbs,
Oh no.
and it was weird though, because like you're like, why, like what's causing the accident? So essentially what happens is like these kids are so poor that they're just trying to look for any means to make money. And the French during like the Vietnam and Cambodian War, and then the Americans dropped a shit ton of bombs and landmines all over Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam.
And they're going to try and find them.
They go to try and find them, and there's a certain way you can defuse these mines. I don't know how to do it, but there is a certain way you can defuse these old French landmines, and if you can do it, you can earn a fair bit of money in scrap metal. That's all it is. It's just scrap metal to them.
Wow.
So a lot of the kids I was working with were like missing arms and legs, and it's just because they've gone into the jungle to try and like feed their family and blown up an arm and leg, and now basically like fucked. So like being
Jesus fucking Christ, people! This podcast got dark.
sorry about.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, like yeah. So
No, it's interesting though.
Yeah,
oh yeah. Well, like I'll put it in perspective for you. So I was like 15, 16 when Bloodstained Nikes came out, and I just thought, fuck yeah, this is hard. And like
Yeah.
everybody, you're like, the music you listen to kind of just like puts you in a certain mood. So here's me thinking,
punching a fly screen.
Yeah, bro.
Nothing compared to you having your arm blown off with a landmine.
Yeah, well, it just like for me, it was just a real eye opener. Like I thought I was like this like ratty dude. I thought like like no one better mess with me. And I went to Cambodia. And I was like, holy fuck! Like
this is
my life is so fucking sheltered.
I had a friend back in the day that went over to Cambodia to help the elephants. Like there's an elephant sanctuary or whatever.
Yeah.
And like obviously like they're helping them with their wounds and all this kind of stuff. I don't really know much about it, but she was telling me about it, and it's a pretty. From what I have heard about Cambodia, it's a pretty intense sight to see.
So I'll say one thing because I don't want to fucking make this super depressing, but the one thing I did notice when I went over when I was 16, and you notice it when I noticed it again when I was 18, and then when I went over there last time, it's getting a little bit better. But basically, there's nobody over the age of like, let's say 50 there. Like there's just nobody there, and the reason for that is because Khmer Rouge had like Cambodia had its own genocide, where like what's mind-boggling to me is when you think about genocide, you think about man, the podcast did get dark, but when you think about like genocides, it's normally like you're doing it to another group of people.
An ethnic cleansing sort of thing.
But
they're doing it to their own people.
They were doing it to their own people. And to put it in perspective, if you wore glasses...
like old people?
Yeah, no, if the old just died. Like if you wore glasses... So Cambodia's missing probably like 2 generations worth of people. Because if you wore glasses, that was a sign of intelligence. And so they just shoot you in the head. Wow. They basically grabbed everybody... Imagine this. Everybody from Perth getting pushed out at gunpoint to go work in the farms in Yanchep. And you're getting like death march, walking all the way over there. And
we are very, very lucky.
Yeah, so
we are very lucky,
after like learning that, I was just
put your perspective straight back in.
Oh yeah. Now when I came home, like I'm no longer thinking, my life is hard or these streets are rough or anything. For fuck's sake, I live in Perth. And then like one thing I remember like hell irritated me is I got home, and then one of my boys was like complaining about the Wi-Fi being too slow.
And you're like, shut
oh, bro, I lost the plot. Like, I'm fair on him. Like, it's totally my fault. I'm fair on him, but I was like, you have no fucking idea. Like,
especially when they're looking for the next meal.
Yeah. Oh, our last day there, we bought them a football, and it was like that Oprah scene where it's like
round type.
Oh yeah, so we bought them a soccer ball.
No, it's football.
It is a football. Yeah. They know it's football.
Fuck off,
they don't even know what fucking like AFL is over there. They'd be like, what the fuck is this? So like we go on like a football, and it was like that scene from fucking like Oprah, like you get a PS4, you get a like everybody's fucking crying. They're holding this ball up in the air and like
stoked.
Oh man, they were all like. We only got them the one ball, like between all of them, but they all acted like they all got a ball each. And like after seeing that shit, you're just like, it's so much harder. Yeah, so much harder to come back. I'm like, these streets are rough. Like,
I guess it would kind of give you a new lease on life after that as well. Like, be grateful for what you've got and all that.
Yeah, 100%. Which
we live in a pretty beautiful place with pretty great opportunities, and like some people take advantage of those opportunities, some people don't. But to sit there and like I've known a lot of people in the past that constantly complain about their situation without trying to do anything about it. It gets a lot rougher out there, man.
Oh yeah, and it only gets worse like the older you get. So if you're in that situation now where you're like, fuck, I don't know really what I want to do, just do anything. Like if you're like, oh, I don't know what job I want to get, just get a job. Like put your foot in the door. Just work, man. Like that's what it is.
If there's something, if you've got like a dream and you've got something that you want to follow, you absolutely should do everything in your power to follow that dream. And now, what that means though, is actually doing it.
Yeah.
Which is where a lot of people go wrong, is they always have these ideas and grand aspirations and grand ideas, grand plans, and then it's the execution that they fail to do.
Lacking follow-up skills.
They talk about it all the time, but they want somebody to do the work for them.
I mean, how many times have we all seen that, like, watch this space post and shit like that from, like, people?
Big things coming.
Big things some of the way.
I've been guilty of...
Oh, like, likewise, bro. Like, 100%. We've all done it, but the difference is like, you follow through, and, like, other people don't follow through. It's a lot of, like, a lot of smoke just gets blown up people's asses where they're just like, yeah, you better watch this space, like this shit's about to happen, and it's like, where is it? And it's like, oh man, like, yeah, the video didn't come out on time. It's like, why didn't you have the video ready when you made the post? Like, you know, it's just, there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lack of, and it goes for me as well, like, I'm not fucking saying, I just feel like there's a lack of discipline when it comes to like the art craft of like hip hop and rapping and MCing and stuff. Like, everybody wants to put in the work, but like, what sacrifices are you willing to make as an individual? Like, let's say, like,
definitely.
Let's say you fucking like smoke a lot of weed, and it's like, yeah, fuck, man, like my live performances aren't that great. It's like you've probably smoking weed before your show. Are you willing to sacrifice smoking that weed to get a better show?
Well, one thing that's made a big difference with our live shows, and it was actually good that Byron kind of pointed this out, is like in our early live shows, I used to have a great fucking time, but I was fucking hammered every last one of them.
Yeah.
Right, so me thinking that we're having the best fucking performance ever, right, I'm just partying and having a good time, but the performance wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Right. So one thing I've done is I might have like 1 or 2 beers before a show now,
Yeah.
and then as soon as I get on the stage, I'm getting fuck out.
Yeah.
But like when I'm actually on stage, just having that being conscious and aware of what's going on and being able to actually like communicate with the crowd and all that kind of stuff has made a huge difference to our live shows. And that was a sacrifice I had to make because the first couple of shows I tried to do like relatively sober, I was so fucking nervous.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it hits you
But
differently.
once you've done it a couple of times, you sort of lose
Overcome
that.
it, yeah.
It just becomes like, all right, I got this. And actually, now if I was to get drunk, I'd get more nervous than if I did a show sober.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
I was the exact same, like the example I gave of people smoking too much weed, like that was me like a few years ago where, especially during like the grind days and shit,
Yep.
I smoked like maybe like 1 or 2 joints beforehand, and the thing with grind is like it's all high energy. Like,
140 BPM
yeah,
and you're
so-
stoned, man. You're
yeah,
like-
so like, I mean, no one going back, but there are definitely photos of me like that and shit
Yeah.
at shows, and it's just like, I can remember the bars, like I used
Some people with when it comes to like smoking weed and stuff, some people can still have energy
Yeah.
smoking weed. I am definitely not one of those people. That's why I don't really smoke that much because I'm personally the amount of times Byron's tried to get me stoned and be like, you need to be a stoner, bro. It's gonna make your life better.
No.
But he can function really well
Yeah.
with weed. Like majority of the time, he doesn't have any issues with slowing down because of weed. Me, if I start smoking weed, I just want to sit on the couch, play PlayStation, and eat some fucking popcorn. You know?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't
That's
want to
right.
do anything, and the only way I ever get anywhere in my life with anything I do is just getting out and fucking doing it.
Doing
Yeah,
it.
facts.
You know, so it's just not worth it for me. That's a sacrifice. Like, it's not a big sacrifice for me because I was never really a huge stoner anyway, except for like high school.
Yeah, yeah, who wasn't?
But
yeah.
but it's just something that's not viable for me. you
Yeah.
know? And I think that's something that people should take into consideration with their habits and all that
Yeah,
kind
definitely.
of stuff.
Well, going on about weed and travelling, I have to ask the most important question because it's me. How's the food?
What in
Oh,
Canberra?
just the food in general. Like, yeah.
Oh,
Anything you can talk about food all day, mate.
Yeah, yeah. So if we
How'd you
go,
acclimatise to the heat? Was there heat? Was there chili? Was there?
oh yeah. So one. If we are talking about weed and food, the one thing is in Cambodia is the local. I'm gonna butcher the name, so I'm not going to say it. But so essentially, the locals there, weed is legal for them. It's not legal for like outsiders.
Yes.
It's just part of like their culture. So a lot of their food is infused with weed. So you
Wow.
have like happy pizza shops all over the place in
Happy
Cambodia.
pizza.
Yeah, so it's just like weed infused pizza. So it's such a scam because you eat like 3 slices and you end up eating like 2 boxes
They're
worth.
butchering
like,
Italian cuisine here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just like smothering like buds in it.
It's
and
like
shit.
Italian peasant
no, it's like
cuisine.
an Amsterdam pizza, mate. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, but other than that, like the food, it's other than that, 'cause that's like a novelty food that you shouldn't be eating all the time. But it's good fun that. But the other food, like the spices and stuff, like yeah, like it's quite a shock. Like especially you wouldn't think of it. They've got a bit of like a Indian community over
Yep.
there as well, and so a lot of their spices are also infused with like the Indian cuisine. So like you get like a
your masalas.
yeah,
all that
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
stuff,
and it's such a what's the word? It's such a like basically like I'm very like one dimensional when it comes to my food. I know what I like, I know what I don't like.
Is
So I
that
was
the
like,
English
yeah.
coming out?
yeah. So I'm like, I'll get a butter chicken, please. And they're just like, they just look at, they shake their heads.
chicken
And I'm-
masala and a lager.
Yeah, so they're just, but I had that, and like honestly, like the spices in that like knocked me backwards. Like the food over there is next level, especially like
Absolutely
Vietnam
kicks
as
ass.
well. Yeah, Vietnam
love
as
it.
well.
Love it.
Like
Yeah, my
huge.
missus likes Vietnamese food. I'm really not a fan. Even just the smell of something.
Have you had a banh mi
No.
though? Have you had a banh mi?
No.
You're missing out.
You
mate.
missed. Have a
Mate.
banh mi.
Yeah,
Like,
banh mi.
don't worry about the
I
noodles
like
and nothing like
Italian
that.
food, but Vietnamese food ain't my thing.
No, trust. Have because the banh mi is like fuck, we get the details
yeah,
here. It's like
yeah.
pork bread, but like the French were in Vietnam at one point, so
The
like
baguette,
it's like a baguette roll with like pork, a bit of carrot, bit of like
There's a place down
chili.
the road from my house that sells that stuff.
Do
I'll
it.
give a crack.
Do it,
Do
100%,
You're gonna
mate.
do it.
Yeah.
I'll buy you one. How's that?
Yeah, and then I'll take
Well,
probably take one bite.
It's
of
quite
it,
funny
spit
with
it
that
out.
when you're talking about the French with the Vietnamese, because the Vietnamese actually like coq en vin. That was a Vietnamese dish. That they
Yeah,
made
yeah.
French and that. So yeah, but where else in Southeast Asia you been? Like, where did you enjoy the most as a holiday destination? More so as not so much more as work.
So the best place, well, one of the highlights is I'm glad I get to tell the story. So long story short, when I was doing more grime stuff, there's a page called International Grime. Like, go check that out on Instagram. So essentially,
We'll put the link on the bio.
Yeah.
So essentially,
You gotta remember to do that.
Yeah, we do.
I hit this guy up and I was like, hey man, because he does, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't rap himself. It's just a platform where he just finds people from all over the world and just goes, oh, you spit grime? I'll put you on my platform. That's
It's
his
like
whole
Blood
niche.
Juice. Blood Juice is like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blood Juice.
So I hit up the page and I was like, hey, look, I'm going to be in Vietnam for the next couple of weeks. Do you know any Vietnamese rappers? And he was like, let me get back to you. A day later, he was like, I don't know any Vietnamese rappers per se, but I do know rappers in Vietnam. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll go check that out. And so I met up with these guys, and they're all from the UK and shit. And essentially,
so your kind of deal.
Yeah. Well, it was just weird. Like they're all from the UK, Ireland, France as well. And essentially, before COVID, they had this really good idea, and I think they got the nuts and bolts done, but COVID kind of threw a spanner in the works. But essentially,
of course, it threw a spanner in the works.
Oh yeah. But essentially, what this was.
Fuck COVID.
Fuck COVID straight up. So essentially what they was is they made this like Silk Road or Golden Mile of promotions where essentially they had friends in Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand. So they would hit up like an artist from the UK. It doesn't matter if it's grime, boom bap, or drum and bass. And they go, hey, look, like, how would you like to come to Southeast Asia and do 6 shows in 4 different countries? And like we've got promoters in
Just
each.
get on a
Wow.
bus.
Yeah. So
Fuck
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, they showed me, and like, you know, everybody's got stories. So you take a pinch of salt with these, but then they showed me actual photos of like the people they had over. They had like Devilman, they had like Devilman, high focus dudes like Jam Baxter, Dabla, and shit like. In fact, the first time when I went over to Vietnam, second time I went over to Vietnam, went to a nightclub, loved it, sick time, whatever. Went back to the hostel, kicked on, dope. About a week later, I flew out, and then the week after that, Dabbler and Jam Baxter came through.
Get out!
And I was like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" So
You
I
would have been fucking.
Oh,
Was that just
I
I
was
Psychoville came out? Or?
Yeah. So I was
fuck.
not happy, and then I told that story to these lads, and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, we were the promoters who booked them." I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Thanks for letting me know,
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, this was like a year and a
Cheers
half,
for the heads up.
but like a year and a half afterwards. But no, so yeah, shout out Beats, Bars, and Breaks. I still think some of those boys, some of them have gone back to the UK, but a few of them are still in Vietnam doing
Hey,
their
just
thing.
an idea. Let's all go to Southeast Asia.
Yeah, sure.
Let's all go to
Straight up.
Southeast.
Let's
Mate, they're trying to hook these guys up. Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Well,
Let's go.
he's told me about the food, so I'm
Let's
fine.
fucking go.
Yeah, 100%. Let's
Let's
book it
fucking
in.
go.
Look, if you
Let's
hear this,
go.
we'll do
Come
it.
on. Yeah, I want to perform everywhere if I can. It's the thing
Well,
about.
he's literally, Elliot Ness is an international
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah.
Like you
International in the sense that like
are. National and international.
if I go abroad and there's an opportunity to do a show, then like 100%
Yes.
I'll do it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's why I like the idea of touring. This year, I want to try and get a lot of touring done.
Yeah.
I like the idea of touring because I never really spend a lot of time outside of Perth,
Yeah.
and it's an opportunity for me to go on a couple of days, see a new place, meet new people in a new city, and get to do a show, which would be sick. So
Yeah,
I want to
exactly,
do as
man.
many of those kinds of shows as possible.
Well, it's probably been in the last 6 months, 8 months that we've really got the team together that can really.
We've already talked about doing a show in
Focus.
Bali. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's going to.
Oh, it can happen because I'll put a link in the bio too. Shout out to Matt Weaven. He's got a Doomley Records,
Yeah.
Doomley Records bar in Bali. On Lombok, I'm pretty sure.
Ah,
it's called.
sick. Yeah,
At the
Lombok,
moment, it's just going to be a finances thing, funding all these touring.
because
and
we're all self-funded. So,
Yeah,
as
of
you
course.
know,
All
you are
working
as
on
well.
Yeah.
all working on.
But 100
touring at the moment.
100% independent, baby. So that's what we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Fuck yeah. And hopefully this podcast blows up and then we can do it anywhere you guys like.
Anywhere you want.
Anywhere you want to see us, by the way, put it in the comments.
You know what you guys need is Patreon. Patreon.
We'll get there eventually. Like I think we're.
What you need is like some big names to like come on the pod, and then
Yeah.
just put that on like on a Patreon, and then like just give them some like questions that they
Are
wouldn't
you
be
not big
expecting
enough
to.
for us? Is that what you're
I think it is.
I will bring like a whole fucking 10 views to your phone.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
nah,
Like, we'll see how we
I
go.
don't think
Like,
so, mate.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think so,
saying?
mate.
I think you'll be right, mate.
No, I hope this is the whole reason why we're doing it is more for local artists and
Yeah,
stuff
no,
like
I
that.
appreciate
and,
that, man.
and
Thank you.
like we're all friends. Like a lot of the artists
Yeah.
are friends and that as well. And like there's nothing
We've been
better
involved with the scene for so long that we've met
Yeah.
a lot of people that are really cool, good to have a chat to. And
Yeah.
for me, a big part of this podcast is we're going to build it slowly. It's
Yeah.
going to be a slow build, but we want it to be somewhere where people go to get information,
Yeah.
the scoop.
yeah.
Like one thing we're doing as well, which like I'll mention again, we mentioned in the first episode, but I haven't talked about it since. we're going to be doing a bear trap geek guide.
Yep.
Ah,
So-
sick.
We're going to have a Facebook page. Well, I already have the Facebook page. I'll put the link.
In the bio.
So they're
That's a
on
host,
that.
mate. Finishing
On
each
that,
other's
it's going to be a
sentences.
group, and like anybody can join the group. And if you've got a show coming up in Perth, just post it in here, and we'll have a segment where we list off all the shows that are coming up.
Fuck oath.
So
That's,
every week, so that'll be cool.
Because if you don't support local, what have you got?
No,
Literally.
everybody, your favorite.
I want this to be like the go-to place to know what's going on in WA.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be cool. Like, I'm not having super high expectations on it, but I think we could make
No,
it.
no, you've got the goals, like, you know what you want to do with it, and so you know what direction you want to head to. And, like, for anyone listening, like, your favorite rapper was once just a local rapper.
Yeah.
So, like, support your locals, you know, like, and
Yeah.
not, and I don't mean just, like, support your one friend who raps. I'm talking about, like, just support, like, the local people putting work in the scene. Because if you're a fan of hip-hop in any sense or capacity, you should just be supporting the people around you,
And
like,
the craft,
regardless.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, this is sort of a bit of a passion project for me and Lucian.
Yeah.
Because we actually like really care about the scene, and we really care about like hearing people's stories and stuff. Plus, we get to have fun conversations with people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
You know,
man. Like,
so-
And it's really about, well, for once the artists themselves, and two, for us to really like ask the questions that not many people get to ask.
yeah.
Also too, yeah, fuck, I just lost my fucking train of thought then. Anyway,
All right,
yeah.
so let's move on from talking about ourselves for a minute. Let's ask about like what sort of music you got coming out.
All right. Yeah.
I know
so-
you do a bit of drum and bassy sort of, or like
Drum and bass grind.
Yeah.
grimy
So,
stuff.
long story short, I said that before, but basically to give you guys a bit of like an understanding of where I'm at and what I do and shit. So I'm from the UK originally. I grew up on like UK boom bap, and that's where I kind
Where
of
in
got
the
my
UK?
fame. So I grew up in a place called Bournemouth, which if you're not from the UK, you probably haven't heard of.
You're
And
Bournemouth
if
supporter.
What's it close to?
I am.
Give it up,
gotta
give
be.
it up, yeah, you gotta be.
So
What's it near?
I'll say it's on the coast, but let's just say it's near like Manchester. Because I always just say, because I was born in Bournemouth and then we moved to Manchester when I was younger, and everyone knows Manchester, so I just go
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Manchester. But if you're from Manchester,
Your
if you
accent's
yeah.
still Manchester.
yeah, when you hear people are just like, well, people from Manchester, they hear the accent and they go like, say tractor, and like, if you're from like Bournemouth,
Tractor.
you'll fuck it up. No, like we say like tractor, like it's just
Tractor?
like, yeah, it's just
Tractor.
like,
That's so
you know, like Shrek, like Shrek's
Yeah.
type of voice. Is
Yeah.
basically where I'm from. That's like the countryside of like
Right.
England. So
Yeah.
like, anyway, so
Very, very harsh. sounding.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
country.
It doesn't sound very good on raps, basically.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to have moved away when I was younger.
You said a lot of your accent. You've got such a mixed accent.
Yeah,
now.
I've been told it's like a bit of a mongrel
It's a
type
little
of.
bit of Australian, a little bit of, and like what's wild is I had a friend recently that came back from. She'd been living in England for a few years, and she came back and she had like quite a alarming accent.
Yeah.
She'd been obviously around English people all the time. And everybody over there still thinks she has an Australian accent, but
Yeah.
she comes over here, everyone thinks she
Yeah,
has an English
it's,
accent.
mate.
And then she goes back, and they're like, "You're sounding more Australian. What the fuck?"
Mate, you put me in a room full of English people, you could, like, I sound English. But you put me in a room full of Australians, I'll sound more Australian with like a tinge of English to it.
Yeah.
But so I grew up on like UK boom bap rap, so like high focus type of stuff. And that's
Oh,
where I
yeah.
got my
Dirty Dyke.
yeah, exactly. That's
fuck,
how I
man.
kind of learned to rap, like listening to those guys and listening
Honestly,
to that.
my early days getting into rap, that was a big part of my inspirations for writing the larrikin sort of style that I do.
Yeah,
know,
dirty.
like
You can hear the Dirty Dyke influence in that, like 100%.
Yeah, they're very. I quite like the style, like the way that they not only enunciate, but the way that they put witty
It's the
paraphrases.
attitude.
Yeah.
and the attitude that actually when they're rapping, like portrays as they're spitting. You know,
I
like
can't think of a more diverse like label than those guys. Like
Yeah.
each one of
Oh.
them have like a separate lane, and
Yep.
they're fucking great at that lane. And
Yep.
then every now and then
They
they
all
like
kill
come
it.
over to like the other person's lane, but like each one of them.
Belgium to Bristol.
Oh yeah, so that's not high focus, but yeah, we did a song with Up Front from Split Profits.
Oh, real?
Yeah.
Man, that is sick. Yeah,
Called
bro.
Balga to Bristol, so that was sick. Yeah.
I haven't.
He was such a G about it.
I haven't heard that, but I'm first thing as soon as I go home,
Yeah,
I'm listening
yeah.
to that, bro.
I thought
I'll
just got
play
that
for you
in.
after. When we
Oh
finish.
yeah, fuck it. No, I'm dead kid. Like Split Profits were
Yeah.
fucking like what they were
Yeah,
like.
when I first started rapping as well, like Split Profits were a huge inspiration for me with my writing and all that kind of stuff. I used to really get into like the pommy rap
Yeah.
because it just something grabbed me about it. The way they pronounce, the way
Yeah.
and also the the wordplay and things like that. It really got into me. And Upfront was always my favorite from Split Profit ever since he did the song. What was it? I'm blanking now.
Did Louis?
Yeah, I'll remember it in a second. We'll get back to it. But yeah. So I've always been a fan of Upfront and Split Profits, and then I saw him do a freestyle or something on Instagram, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to him and see if we can do a track.
Fuck, man, yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, man, like, send me the shit, and then he sent us back a verse, and it was fucking all sweet.
That's honestly, man, that's made my day. Like, that's sick.
Yeah.
Like, we live in an age now where like you can literally watch a rapper online on your phone and just be like, I'm just gonna message this guy on the off chance that something and it does.
This
like,
is again what I was talking about. Just do shit.
Just do it. Yeah,
like
shit.
If you, even if people, what's the worst that happens? He says no.
Yeah, I'm busy or like I can't. And you're like, yeah, no worries. Like that's fine.
Well, it's either a yes or a no.
Yeah, exactly. So
but
like,
you're
you gotta shoot your
very
shots.
lucky in this day and age that we can do things like that.
Yeah.
You know? And it's a good thing too because technology's out there so much that there ain't these assholes gatekeeping shit.
Yeah.
And I reckon that's the worst thing for a fucking creative, like as an artist, is for somebody that it is in a position to give you a gig or record you or do anything like that, or even give you a how would I say, like a collab or anything like that. It's easier now to actually contact them and do it, whereas before you'd have to go through certain people to do it.
Yeah.
Certain channels and stuff.
That's not what you know, it's who you know. And I'm really, really fucking grateful that
With
in this day and
labels
age,
and
with
all
labels, what fucking labels? Most of the people that we know now do the shit themselves.
Yeah.
The
100%.
only thing I would push back on that, right, is without the labels and the labels being all important like they used to be back in the day, you have a million people that will consider themselves rappers or consider themselves artists or consider themselves musicians.
Saturates the market.
Not only saturates the market, but there is no accountability of those people. So you might hear a song from a rapper and be like, this guy is so fucking dope, can't wait to see what he drops next. And then it's 10 years before he drops another song.
Yeah, facts.
Because if you're with a label, you have to have this many songs by this date. You need to do this many music videos, that kind of stuff. So if people don't hold themselves accountable, then it makes it...
But labels are literally a
saturated
bank.
with people
bank.
that can't be fucked.
Labels literally are a bank. They offer you distribution, they offer you promotion. So
which literally just means they're going to pay for
it's
all
a
this
loan.
shit.
Yeah. It's a loan.
They're going to chuck the credit card on this.
It's a loan,
right?
basically.
And then once you actually make them their money back,
it ain't like people realise
your
we're
signing
talking
bonus
America.
is borrowed money.
Yeah,
Essentially, just like a bank, labels aren't necessarily your friends. They're a business. They're there to make money. So like
and interest.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am not disparaging anybody that
no.
go the label route.
Get on a label, you're doing well for yourself.
If a label hit me up, I'd obviously look into the contracts and consider it. But
which would be great, yeah.
But there is an advantage to staying independent.
Oh, 100%.
Because what a lot of artists have proved, like people like Russ and all that kind of stuff, they've proved that if there is so much interest in you from labels, what's to stop you doing it without the label? Because there is a reason why they want you, is because you're already selling yourself.
Frank Ocean made the biggest example of that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
He basically, in a nutshell, I won't say a long story short, but in a nutshell, I'll just think of another one. He basically, the label gave him a certain amount of money for a certain album. He's gone ahead and done that to the actual T. Given the label the album that he's done. The next day, dropped his own. Because his contract was done after that.
Yeah. That's how you got to play the game.
And obviously the label made money, and they couldn't really complain about the fact that he's dropped something the next day. But contractually, But that's the thing. It's a lot of people don't realise it's not like the American dream where someone will discover you singing, busking, or anything like that. It's a lot of fucking hard work. It's a lot of, but yeah, labels are literally the modern form of a bank. They'll give you a fuckload of money. Say, we're going to put you on this festival, this festival, this festival. We're discussing something similar last night about pay to play. Yeah. With certain things like that where you pay, I won't mention names, but you pay certain groups or companies. And I was literally unaware of it until he said, hey, listen, this is what they're doing and this isn't really good. So I looked right into it, you know what I mean? Until about 11:30 last night. Yeah. And I'm going, well, why are these people as labels or what the actual wording I can't remember, but you will be, if you pay these people to actually go and perform, they're going to give you the platform to perform, and you will be performing in front of influential people in order to get your music out there. I think with the day and age of Facebook, Instagram, social media, YouTube,
you can get your music in front of the right people. If you
right people anyway.
Yeah.
If they fuck with your shit, they fuck with your shit.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? So I think
it's going without a label. One thing that like kind of should be said about it is that going without a label is obviously going to be a slower route.
100%.
And also, it's going to be a lot more work on your part because there will be things that a label will handle, such as like tours and things like that. I've watched,
nitty-gritties.
Honestly, I'm not a fucking expert on this. I've never been signed to a label. I don't know exactly, but I've watched a lot of videos on what a label does for people. Personally, I'd rather do a lot of those things myself.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I'm actually giving my opinion on there is because I've been approached by a couple of, one was a label and two were companies because they weren't actually registered as a label, and they asked me to look into like to be employed with them as A&R, which is like I don't even know what the fuck it means, but you know with all, like organising artists, getting artists to do certain shows and shit like that. And when I started looking into it, it was just too much work for me at the time. But when you showed me, when we were having a yarn last night on the phone saying like, you know, pay to play and stuff like that, you sort of say, well, I think that sort of thing is like way too old school.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, look at Post Malone, like that story itself.
Well, it's like paying to get
that
on
story
a tour.
itself, that story itself.
What a lot of people do as well is like, say if you wanted a tour with like a big artist or whatever, you can hit them up and go, hey, I'll pay you this much per show to be on the bill.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of people get attention. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If that's how you want to get attention, go for it.
You can't
but
be
that's
happy.
but that's one thing that labels might do for you.
Yeah.
Is they'll add you to a tour, it'll cost them money, but they know they're going to make them money back on the other end.
And just on the other side of that, if you're independent, like there's nothing stopping you from doing that. But what I would say on 2 points is always have a plan. So your plan is like, all right, I'm gonna ask this big artist, I'm gonna say, look, I'll give you $500 of my own money if I can like support you, because like, you know, you bring a big name, I think I'm a good artist, I want like the attention as well. That's all good, but if you're an independent artist, what's your merch like? Because you've got to make your money back. You're spending $500. You've got to make your money back. So if you don't have merch ready, you don't have a product to sell, then you're only selling yourself short by not being prepared. So
merch,
like you've
merch
got to
money's
prepare.
huge.
Yeah, exactly. Like I need to take my own advice. I have.
Preparation is key. I'm really bad for it. But preparation is key, and having those sort of avenues set up where you can kind of make your money back is obviously the ideal situation.
Yeah, you don't even have to. I mean, look, in an ideal world, you're making a profit, but at the very least, break even.
Funding.
Yeah.
Break even. Like, do yourself justice.
At the end of the day, most people, because there'll be a lot of people listening to this that aren't musicians or rappers or not involved in that sort of the background side of it, they won't realise how much money actually goes into music.
Oh yeah, no fun.
It's the scourge of my life is the amount of money I spend on music, but I do it because I have a passion and I have a dream and I want to follow it.
Yeah, 100%. I tell you what, you probably get the same question
part
as well.
of the commitment.
I've had questions like, a question from family members. I'm not putting anyone on blast, but it's like, how much money have you made from doing rap? And it's just like, look, like if I was here to make money, I would have quit a long time ago. Like there is,
and it's like you don't want to answer it because you're gonna be like, no, I'm negative 450.
Yeah, well that's the thing. But like I would.
If your hobby was a chef, or you liked cooking, you watched a bit of MasterChef.
No, exactly. If your hobby was painting, they're not gonna be like, well, how much money have you made from your paintings? It's like, can't you just enjoy the craft?
How much money do you spend on paintbrushes?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like with rap and stuff, rap and like stand-up comedy, it's just like if you do this for a passion, people want to know like, are you the next Dave Chappelle? Are you the next Eminem? If not, they're not interested. It's like, yo, it's more of a passion project.
If you're not, doesn't mean you can't make a life out of it.
No, exactly.
At the end of the day, me following my passions and like doing things like this podcast, doing things like my music, me following my passions, I'm a much happier person than if I was making fucking 150.
Some people spend that money on the TAB or
spend
straight
it on
whiskey.
No, I feel more fulfilled.
Yeah.
Following the things that I want to do, whether that equates to monetary value. At the end of the day, I don't really give a fuck.
No.
It would be nice, of course.
100%.
I'd fucking love it if I could make a decent wicket fucking doing the things that I love.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I work every day, I fucking get shit done.
Well, like, my overall goal for music, and my missus asked me this like 3 or 4 years ago, she's like, what do you actually want added to do your music? And I said, like, to be absolutely honest with you, I would love to drop a project that just earns like a little bit of income that can support me while I'm in Cambodia and Vietnam.
Yeah.
That is it. Like that.
While you're traveling.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Like some people want to make it like #1 in the charts and shit. I'm just like, yo, if I drop a body of work that allows me to just go traveling or allows me to actually like put into these communities I work for, that is it. I've made it.
Doesn't need to be a big income either. It's like it just has to be enough so that you don't have to work while you're over there.
Facts. It's just like as an artist, as an MC, you just have to ask yourself like, what is my understanding of making it? Like, because it's different for everybody. Some people want to sell out venues. Some people sell out like your stadiums. Some people just want to like drop bodies of work. Like, what is like your idea of making it? And as soon as you figure that out, you realize that like how much energy and how much time and how much energy you've actually got to like put into making that happen. Because if you just like don't have any overall goals or no overall objectives, you'll just wander like aimlessly
you don't have an
throughout the years.
understanding of yourself in that way as well.
Facts.
If you don't have an understanding of that, like you can't progress forwards until you figure it out. Like you need to, like one thing I've been doing in the last probably year or so, and Nick can attest to this because I am an animal when it comes to like if I want to get something done, we're getting it done. That's
what you need though.
I'm ruthless, and it's because I write. What I've started doing a lot is writing everything down, keeping track of everything, and every time I get a spare moment, something needs to be done. If I don't do something, I get all depressed and not happy, and I need to be doing something to progress towards my goals and stuff.
Yeah,
and my goals are very specific.
Yeah,
I've pinpointed what my goals are, and every waking moment, I'm going to do everything I can to get there.
But we can't. And I'm the same.
If I don't reach my goals, I'm still going to know that I feel better than I would have just sitting on the couch doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like working.
Yeah, and it all adds up, you know.
Like when it comes to the things that I enjoy doing, I really like working. I like the idea that I'm outworking other people that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds kind of cocky.
No. But that's the mentality you need to have. It's just like
I like the idea that no matter how hard these guys think they're working, I'm doing it till like from when I wake up to when I go to bed. I'm thinking of ideas. I'm coming up with things. I want to be ruthless.
It's literally like we were talking at the start of the pod where it's just like, like some people like just smoke themselves into like not doing any work. I'm guilty of that. But there have been times, I'm not even kidding, have been times where I've been like, I'm doing music, I'm like, you know what, fucking, I'm just have a quick smoke break. And after the smoke break, I'm like, oh man, I just can't be fucked doing music. I scroll my phone and I see somebody who I know who's actually doing shit, motivated straight away to go back in the studio and start writing. I'm like, no, this guy can't beat me. Like, and it's not. It's the competitive nature of it.
And that's hip hop, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I had a song about that that's called "Show Me Up."
Yeah.
Right, because a huge majority of my inspiration comes
from
back in the day when I saw somebody doing better than me. I used to get bitter and like annoyed and be like, "Oh, they don't deserve this," and rah rah.
Yeah.
Now my perspective has changed a little bit. And when I see somebody doing better than me, all it does is inspire me. I get excited. I go, let's fucking go. Yeah. Like, let's fucking, because if they can do it, then I can do it. And I know I can work hard enough and hopefully do better.
I say the ones who are doing better than me or the ones who came before me who are still doing their thing, I don't see them, part of me sees them as a bit of like a competitor, but mainly now I just see them as they're opening doors that I don't have to open anymore.
Yeah.
So there's dudes who I'm not going to drop names because they whatever reason, but there's dudes who've been done some big stuff in our local scene, and it's just like 5 years ago I would have been like, yeah, fuck that dude, man. He didn't really earn it, and now I'm like, holy shit, if he can do it, then I can do it. Like, you know what I mean? So like. I start seeing people
opening
doors.
It's a much healthier mentality.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you
you
think everybody in the scene's your fucking enemy otherwise, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you spend half your life being miserable instead of actually working towards your goal.
Yeah.
It really excites me when I see somebody else doing well within the scene. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go.
And I think an important thing is on top of that as well is just, especially like to the people who have opened the doors for us and have done these things, give them their flowers in the sense of like, I don't make a big deal out of it in terms of like posting messages that I've sent to other MCs. I kind of find that shit like that's private between us.
Yeah. Yep.
But at the same time, like there's been people who've dropped stuff, who've made merch, who are doing shit, and I'll just say, it's unsettling how weird they find it when you just send them a message being like, hey bro, checked out your shit, you're doing well, you're killing it, good job. Because
a lot of them will respond and go, hey, thanks for
but everybody's kind of got this like it's not a perfect thing. I think it's an Australian thing. But everyone's kind of like in this bubble, like we're boys, so only we give each other props.
Yeah.
Somebody else gives us props. What do they want from it? Because like the amount of times I've just sent a message to
I
somebody.
don't think that's an Australian thing. I think that's a human thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the amount of times like, I'll message somebody and just go like, hey man, that was sick. And they go, oh yeah, cool, thanks. And you just know they're waiting for me to be like, oh, do you want to jump on this verse? Or do you want to wait?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I just want to give you your flowers. Like, you've earned these flowers.
Yeah.
We're not all here forever. Fuck it. Like, you deserve to know that this song is impacting
That's one thing
you.
I've been trying to do a lot more is when I actually do see a dope song or a dope video and stuff. I was real bad for, back in the day when I first started and stuff, like, I wouldn't comment on people's shit.
Yeah.
Unless they were my boys. Or
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly. That's what I'm talking
right?
about.
And
Yeah,
it's just like, well,
Fuck, I do it with everyone.
now I'm more like, it kind of benefits me in a way, like for selfish reasons. It benefits me to reach out and go, hey man, that was a dope track, because it makes me feel better about the fact that like I understand why people aren't doing it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when they do, I appreciate it more. So me having the feeling of them appreciating my message, it makes me go, yeah, I did a good thing, even though I really should do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's
And
like
if you're a rapper who's like kind of like on the fence, like, oh, I kind of like this guy, but I don't want to, I don't want to come off as sucking his dick. But look at it this way: if you want to look at it in the selfish way, if you post on somebody's video, yo, these visuals are crazy, or anything, especially like particular,
the
or
more specific it is, the better.
People will look at your comment and go, well, who the fuck's this guy? Click on your thing, and next thing you know, you've got yourself a fan. So like, that's the most selfish way of looking at it, but either way, from you just giving people their flowers and what's due, they benefit from it and you can benefit
There's
from
a
it.
real positive to be found in being selfishly unselfish.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a question for you both. Who is an Australian rapper, I'm not saying West Australian rapper, but who's an Australian rapper now that you're fucking right into, that not many people would know, okay, but you fuck with their shit? Now that's a bomb of a question. Now I could tell you 10 guys off the top of my head from all over Australia that, because I'm fucking right into it. Like, assuming
See,
that
the ones that I get right into, like a fair few people know. Like one I'm bumping really hard at the moment is Manazil.
Yeah,
facts.
But a lot of people know who Manazil is. So
no, it doesn't have to be.
As far
let me
as
rephrase.
People that not many people would know. Like
let me take that part out of the question. But who's an Australian hip hop artist that you really fuck with? Like, and I know how much you love Manners because we've been talking about the track of that for last week.
Podcasts,
oh, bro, get him in on a pod.
Oh, great. Yeah,
straight up.
If he wants to come on, hit us up.
For me personally, it's a guy called Tonight.
Tonight?
He's originally from WA, I believe. I think he lives in his van around Geelong and Victoria at the moment. He's got some tracks. I'm not sure. I should check it out to see if it's actually released. But this guy is.
Can I say Byron Elliott?
You can say Byron Elliott. Oh yeah, he can spit bars, man. But like Tonight, he's. Yeah, I'll send you a link, man. He's very like one of those conscious hip hop rappers, but like his lyricism is just astounding.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
I'll give you
links in fucking bio. You're gonna get some manners. You're gonna get some. So tonight,
I'll give you my answers and then give you like a quick short story reason why is that. So I'd say the two artists who like I fuck with a lot, and one of them like they don't even spit the same genre of music as I really do, but they're just. I think they'll be the next big thing. They just need to get on like a platform that's about to amplify what they're about. I would say there's a Sydney rapper called Keems, and there's also another guy, you guys probably know his name, I forget exactly where he's from, might be Sydney, might be wrong, but a guy called like Jai Simpson.
Yep, Jai Simpson.
So I'll tell you,
he's from Melbourne, he's from Victoria.
Yeah.
He's through Sloth Productions, so he produces through Sloth. He has got one of the best tracks. I'm still here.
Yeah. Do a show with us, hit us up.
And he does a one-take thing, and he's in the
that's what I mean. Like,
mate,
it's not just their music; it's the work ethic that like I really appreciate. And then just on the reason behind why I gave those two answers is about 3 years ago, me and another Perth rapper called Zephyr went over to do like a grime show on. I think it's called Get Out or Get Up. Anyway. Part of,
was it Get Up?
It might have been Get Up.
Yeah,
I remember the banner, I just can't remember what was on the actual fucking post. But long story short, we're supporting Jai and Keems who are headlining the show. Yep. About 5 minutes before we get on stage. Now this is all, as far as I'm aware, this is all true. You can check this on the police or 9 News, whatever, because there was a report on it. Essentially, the day before we were supposed to go on, there was a police chase. A guy got into a police chase. He wrapped himself around a tree or a pole, and essentially was putting himself in a coma. We didn't know any
Fuck,
of
you
this.
keep taking this.
No,
podcast
hear me
to a
out.
dark place.
Well, hear me out. So
we need that. What's that? That fucking Law and Order. Fucking dong dong.
So guilty. No. So he's so yeah, he's like I said, never met the guy or whatever, but he's in a coma. We're about to get on stage, and we've flown over to Sydney to go do this. Might have been Sydney. Yeah, it was Sydney to do this gig. But literally before we're about to get on stage, what ended up happening is a huge brawl broke out, and I mean like riot police were called in and shit like that.
Wow.
What we
this
found
was a few
out
years ago.
Yeah,
I remember this.
What we found out is there's
shit.
well, police dogs and shit. This is like me and Zeph are literally walking on stage when this brawl breaks out. Venue manager's like, fuck this, you guys aren't allowed, like no one's performing anymore. Keems and Jai didn't even get to perform because like the venue broke out into a brawl. The reason why it broke out into a brawl is I just want to get my facts right, I might be wrong, but essentially what happened is the guy who was in a coma from the night before sadly passed away. News about this broke out in the crowd. Somebody from that crowd was like, well, fuck that guy. And then a brawl broke out.
I don't blame them.
Yeah,
for
no,
starting a brawl,
straight up. Like, I don't, it is super devastating when you fly over, like, you fly yourself over to do a show and then this shit happens.
But they could have
Sound-
done. What could they
sounds
have
like
done?
a piece of shit, the way you said
Yeah, I'm
that.
like, oh yeah, dude, fuck yeah,
Like,
he ruined the
oh,
show,
you-
ruined the whole night. But
Look, dude, if you
Could have done
didn't
it at
like
a middle
somebody,
show or down at
if
the
you didn't
family.
like somebody in that situation and something fucking happened to them or whatever, they
just keep silent, bro. Like,
just shut the fuck up.
it's not
and walk
about
away.
you. But the reason why I gave Jai and Keems those two spots is, and like this is off the back of their own money. They didn't get to perform, mind you. But they go, well, fuck this, man. Like, we're all here. We're all rappers, most of us anyway. We've got a
Is
crowd
this
here.
when you went back to the hotel?
Yeah, they were like, we'll do a show at our hotel room. And they literally just got as many people as they could to fit in this hotel room.
Yeah.
Fucking
And then we
man.
just did a show in there to like
You
a whole
told
bunch
me
of...
about this in
Yeah,
Brisbane.
yeah, bro. And like, for me, watching that, because these dudes are like my age as well, I was like, holy shit, just to have like the initiative to be like, all right, something's gone wrong. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna fucking do it.
Make the best
That's-
of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
bad
bro. And like
situation.
from meeting them that night, I was like, you know, regardless outside of music, I can tell you guys are good blokes. You guys are like, you know, you guys are actually here to work and shit like that. So yeah, those two dudes in terms of like who I would give like dudes who I can currently see grinding, Keems and Jai. And Jai's just released a big body of work as well.
He just released his EP.
Yeah. So go check that out as well.
I remember he released the track. No, not last week. The week before, and he was copping a bit of shit about auto-tune
Yeah.
on his new
Oh
track.
yeah, people.
That
are
old
so
chestnut.
Yeah, but like, let an artist fucking find their way. Let them use auto-tune. Let them use different fucking.
Yeah,
like,
man,
like, and yeah, that's sort of grinds
Look,
my
man, there's
gears.
Look, man, like if somebody wants to change the way they do their music, just that's up to them. It's up to you whether you listen to it. You know what I mean? Like why?
Oh, look, I loved it.
Why be
I
a
reckon it was
fucking
great.
hater?
It was
No,
different.
I think what people think is if you're like a traditional boom bap head and you hear
If
auto-tune,
you're an Aussie rapper,
yeah.
a lot of people consider, in their mind, Aussie rap is like gutter, like fucking dirty rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think-
so. The second people start to break away from that, they're like, oh, he's going poppy, or he's
Yeah.
fucking. And so that's a really shit mindset.
Well,
But a
when
lot of people,
hear,
let me
like,
butt in for a second. A lot of people don't fucking realise that 20 years ago, Aussie hip hop wasn't cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's facts.
You know what I mean? You used to get fucking like, I've loved Aussie hip hop for fucking years, man. I used to cop a lot of shit. Like, why you listen?
Now
to
you have purists.
Now you have purists that say, oh well, this thing does that and that. And it says, oh, why were you laughing at me at the fucking at the big day out when fucking Hilltop Woods come on?
Yeah.
You
Anyway,
know,
we'll get you to make your last point, and then we'll go have a break.
Yeah, sounds
break,
good.
yeah, definitely.
So-
But no, so yeah. So on that point of like autotune, when people, my belief, when people normally hear autotune, you normally think, all right, so like the words might sound cool, but the bar game's gonna be lazy as fuck because no one's gonna be really going intricate with wordplay over autotune and shit. But if you on the example of Jai, like Jai's been doing fucking wordplay and like flows and shit like
So
that.
good.
That's
So
the
you
thing,
need to
you
need to
can actually
experiment.
rap.
Yeah.
Like if it's somebody who's just saying whatever,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
using auto-tune to pretend they're singing the shit, whatever.
Yeah.
But like for example, like Byron Elliott in the new project that we're doing, most of it hasn't been released yet, but there's a track where it's auto-tune. But the thing is with auto-tune, the better you actually sing, the better the auto-tune.
Oh yeah.
sound.
Autotune can't
Right.
save you if you can't
Yeah,
sing.
yeah.
right?
Shit, you shit.
Yeah.
So,
it's facts.
but like also he's singing and it's fucking bars. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh,
so
fuck
it's like
He can
so-
sing. He can
yeah,
sing.
So it's you know, whatever. Like, if people get shitty about autotune, they can go fuck themselves. As far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
exactly.
Look,
Like, be
at
more
the end of the
versatile.
day, fucking artists all around the world use that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why in Australia do we have to go back to basics every time we do a fucking song?
I generally think that, like, it's no dig at, like, everybody, but I generally think that, like, so 20 years ago, the UK sound was heavily influenced by the American sound. Like, and to the point you've got people from UK rapping in American accents.
talk about this in Brizzy.
Yeah. So, like, that kind of, like, people are like, what the fuck, why are you, like, even the rappers I listen to now, like, today, back then had American accents, which is weird. I feel like that's a good example of what the Australian scene is like now, where Australia is still developing its own sound, and every day we're getting closer and closer. Artists
And
are
it's
refining
starting to feel like you know where you fit in certain scenes in Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like while we're developing our own sound, we're listening to a lot of like American influences and a lot of like UK influences, which is fine, only if our final product is something authentic for Australia.
Yeah.
I feel like you get like Australian artists, like grime artists, being like, yo, wagwan and shit like that. And it's like, it's not just a phrase that people say. Like, that's actually from a culture, that's actually from a community and shit. Like, if you know your history about that, like, it'd just be weird. You would never get like a
That's what me shouting out Funkulu.
Yeah.
Funkulu. Like, it's...
Yeah. Imagine an American going like, how you going? Like, it just wouldn't fucking work. So like, it's cringe in my opinion.
Yeah, but wagwan's actually like a slang term for...
It's a slang, like basically
It's
wagwan
Jamaican,
is,
isn't it?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
patois for basically what's
Yeah.
up. But it came from like the Jamaican influence in the UK, especially over like their like garage history and shit like that, and jungle and whatnot.
That's where most of like jungle and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I feel like there's just no
garage.
appreciation in Australia. of, like, grime artists.
Wicked.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jungle is massive.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go for a piece.
Let's
We'll
go
be
for
back.
a break.
All right.
Right, we'll do it.
We hit record this time.
We're back.
And we're fucking
idiot,
back.
mate.
I swear to God, you hit record though. I don't know how that.
I thought I did as well, but look, we'll suss it out. But
Look,
otherwise, our audio issues will be
We'll
sussed out.
be sorted. There's
If
a
not,
learning curve, man. Like, we're doing something that we're not fucking podcast guys. We never have been. We're doing something we've never done before, and we're really excited about it. And
Yeah.
that's probably why we fuck up. You know?
Nah, bro, it's all early days type of thing.
Yeah,
you know? And
yeah.
that, something as like small as that being an issue now, in 6 months' time, you guys will be fucking smashing.
We'll
gold.
have our own studio in 6 months.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go,
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's the idea. The plan is to get these first, like, probably 10 episodes out, and then we're going to work on a home of the Bear Trap podcast,
We're actually going to form a new company
Yeah.
together. Yep. So Code 6 Media. But yeah, more details.
Cool having like-minded individuals like Lucian and myself, like, having us around and, like, working on something that's, like, important to us, you know? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
and having people that were actually willing to put the work in, you know?
Yeah, facts.
Well, we'll get back to it anyway. And what I wanted to hit on a couple of questions I wanted to ask you is let's go back to like what you grew up with and what you listened to. But what actually, let's just say, on a UK standard or an Australian standard or even an American standard, who actually influences you in the sense of like you listen to a track and you're like, wow, fucking, I can flow to this type of flow, or can I write to this, or is there a certain producer or is there a certain rapper that influences you to a point where I can write?
So I would say there's different rappers for like different reasons when it comes to my like influence. So one of the biggest influences I had growing up was a UK rapper by the name of Akala, who's one of these like conscious rappers. However, like he's not conscious. I feel like conscious rappers kind of get like a bit of slack because when most people think of conscious rappers, at least me, when I think of conscious rappers, my mind immediately just goes to like, oh, you just smoke DMT. Like, you know, like, you're about like the Matrix and shit like that. But like Akala's fucking actual
Matrix.
Akala's actual conscious rappers
Blue or
actually
red
talking
pill?
about like actual issues going on in the world and being like, yo, like, you know, you think you're a tough guy and shit, but like you've never gone to like the favelas in Brazil and shit like that. And you can't talk about. So like I listen to his stuff when it comes to like conscious rap. His wordplay and stuff is something that I've taken on board. The music I'm putting out more nowadays is more like, as you saw in Brisbane and shit, it's more like high energy drum and bass type of thing.
Yep.
So with that, I'm trying to do more of like a Brucey type of approach to it, where it's more like, high energy. You remember
a little
the
bit
name,
of fun.
Yeah, more fun on stage. That being said, like wordplay is something that I'm an addict for. Like, I love wordplay and shit. I love going back. Like, what do you mean by that? And,
That
like,
one
breaking it
bar
down.
that makes you like go.
Yeah, when you've got that
Let's
face,
go.
like, oh. So like that. So I would say, to answer your question, it'd be like a Carla for like the wordplay, Brucey for like the high energy type of things.
Love Brucey.
Yeah,
Shout out
facts.
to Brucey.
Shout out Brucey.
Hit us up if you see this.
Yeah, definitely, brother.
So and then there's certain artists I follow for like different things and shit, and sometimes not even artists. Like one thing I learned early was just like crowd control, and one of the people who put me on that early he's not even an artist himself, but Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Well, Uncle Sam's behind the decks.
Man.
He goes, "Yo, can I get everybody to the front right now?" I didn't even know you could do that as an artist. I didn't know you could approach the crowd and be like, "Yo, I need you guys to do that."
People are intimidated by the crowd,
Facts.
whereas like you need to have full control. You need to have
Exactly.
them eating out of the palm of your hand. You know what I mean?
You can't watch a show from the back of the room.
Exactly.
Well, but the thing is, people naturally will.
Yeah.
Without any input, people naturally will crowd around the back of the room and go, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
All you have to do is invite them to the front of the stage, and you'd be surprised how quickly the entire crowd will move to the front of the stage.
Oh, 100%.
Even if it's only a couple of people at first, as the show goes on, they'll start pushing forward.
Yeah, nobody wants to be the first person to do it, but if you encourage the crowd to move forward, they will move forward. And like, I think you'll attest to this as well. Like, especially doing like boom bap gigs, if people know your bars, like they'll get around it. If people don't know your bars, they'll like kind of like sway to the music. But the amount of times I used to do gigs, especially like boom bap gigs, where I'd be like, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's the end of the song." You get like a from the crowd, and you're like, "Yeah, cool, whatever." You get off stage, and then some guy will be like, "Bro, that was fucking sick. That was mad." It's
Where
like,
were you?
Where was this energy when I was on stage, bro? Like,
Yeah.
Back of the school bus.
Yeah.
I think a
Work
lot.
with me here.
I think a lot of that comes from your own movement on stage and
Facts.
stuff.
Yeah,
Because what happens is, in my opinion, just from the many shows that I've done, the more that I move on stage, the more the crowd feels comfortable with moving around and jumping and fucking putting their hands up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, when you've got a couple of mates in the crowd that are just going off because they love your
that
shit,
helps so
Yeah,
much.
that makes everybody else go,
Yeah.
"This is a fucking vibe, let's go," So having a couple of what would you call them?
Hype men, I suppose.
Hype man, yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, you create
you spies in the crowd that are just the secret society
The
getting
boys,
everything
the
going.
boys.
What do they call them? Crisis actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got crisis actors in the crowd.
Facts. You
Yeah.
need them. You need them.
Yeah. So
that's
that's
all
what like Byron's cousin Byron.
Yeah.
Which is a fucking tongue twister to say.
But yeah,
He's good. He's a good crisis actor for us, because he always goes off, and that just encourages the rest of the crowd to just
Well,
go off.
I must say, I've DJ'd a few bipolar gigs and with a lot of artists, and you bring a really good energy. But the crew that you bring around, like even when we were filming Yours Now with Leah and Byron,
Sick
and
tune.
the crew that just came down for the video clip at my old venue, DMU, was just so great to see the support, and
They just love it.
they love
Yeah.
it. They just they love the fact that they're supporting their friends.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really good thing to have, having that sort of support. And you need the team to build the dream,
Oh,
what I mean?
100%.
And I think that's something that a lot of artists could not to fucking toot my own horn or anything, but like take some inspiration from, in the fact that we've spent a long time building a team of people that love us and love our music and love what we do and stuff, and we cultivate that. We cultivate a culture of our friends coming to gigs. Like, for example, we did something interesting for when we did a Jack Rabbit Slims gig. We just decided we're going to get a party bus. Right,
that's
So we'll
right.
have
Yeah,
pre-drinks.
that's right.
We'll have pre-drinks at my house. We'll get a party bus.
Yeah.
Right. Get a vibe going. Right, and then so we get to Jack Rabbit's, and there's maybe like, I think there was like 200 people there that night.
Yeah.
Right, but there was probably 50 of them were our mates that came on the party bus and were like revving, ready to go.
Yeah, it
so
brings
then,
energy.
so when those 50 people start bringing the energy in the crowd, the whole crowd brings the energy.
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with you having your fucking mates in the crowd.
No,
you know what I mean?
not at
I
all.
encourage. The only thing I will say is, if you're an artist, for the love of God, like, get into the habit of once you're done performing, keep your mates at the venue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stop doing this. Like time and time again, it's happened to me and it's happened to
Hey,
other
check
artists.
this guy out. I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
like this guy. Come fucking watch him, you know?
It's just more like what will happen is you'll go.
But if they're not into it, they're not into it. At the end of the day,
that's
you can't.
fine. But like you bring, let's say on a bad night, you bring like 6 or 8 of your mates, but the guy before you has brought like 50 people with him.
Yep.
If you're the guy who brought 50 people with him, do you and do your friends a favor because they might be interested.
Do
in
the
another
promoter
artist.
a favor too.
Just keep those dudes at the fucking venue because like
Yeah.
like time.
By
and time
the way,
again, you'll get like.
I'm going to say something controversial right here.
Go for it.
Okay, and I know this for a fucking fact. I put it on the artist
Yeah.
because I've put artists on certain gigs before and they're fucked off 5-10 minutes after.
That's not professional.
Now, I understand that people want to get put up the bill, popularity, this and that. And the other.
I don't care if their
You can go to
mates
that
leave, but
whole
if the
sort of
artists
politics
themselves.
thing, but if you're gonna be on a show, like support the people that are in
Oh,
front.
facts.
And
Yeah.
I've had like we had the Bar One gig which had like 20 odd fucking MCs, and a lot of them were leaving after they did their set, and it's sort of like, well, if we're trying to build something up to get shows on,
Yeah.
support the other artists so we can continue to do this, you know,
Yeah.
like, and it's
Because
not
at the end of the day, if you're a promoter and you're booking a venue, a big part of the reason why the venue is going to book you again is how many drinks they sell.
that's
Facts.
it.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you and a big group of your mates all leave after the first set, that doesn't look
But
good
I've
to the
done
venue.
a show before where that has actually happened, where the venue owner has turned around an hour before the headline and just says, "Shut it up, turn it off."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's
Keep the
costing us too
business
much.
in it, yeah.
And
It's
he's gone,
costing
he
us
goes,
too much in
Yeah,
staff.
he goes, "I'm not
to-
paying." He goes, I can't pay the staff." He goes, "You've had 50 people walk through and 32 have walked out like after their
Yeah.
sets, and I literally had to shut down a gig." With
So
an hour
it's
before the
actually
headline,
for rappers in Perth and anywhere in Australia, really, it's actually for your own benefit to try and make sure the gig is as successful as possible for the venue.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're going to go, hip hop shows are a waste of time. And I'm not saying that hip hop shows don't sell a lot of piss, because they fucking do.
Oh yeah.
Right, they
They've been
fucking
around rowdy
do.
ones,
But
yeah.
if you can convince just a couple of your mates to just hang around till the end of the show, easiest way to do that, hang around yourself.
Yeah,
They
yes.
won't leave.
Yeah.
Right? And if the venue keeps selling drinks, they're going to want to keep having hip hop shows there.
So
'Cause-
I was doing, as mentioned before, like I got a big influence from like the grime scene. When
Yep.
grime took off over here, although that didn't end amicably for everybody involved, the one thing I can't take away from that is
The energy.
people brought their boys and then they stayed the entire night. And so we never had an issue getting like venues, because people knew that like even if there's like everybody, let's say there's like 8 artists on the card and then everybody brings 20 to 25 people each. If 80% of those people stay through the entire night, like not only have you as the promoter turn a profit, the venue's happy as well, and they'll have
Yeah.
you back. So
Yeah.
that's like one big crucial piece of advice I'd give to like upcoming artists and stuff is like get your boys around it, get your boys around
Yep.
you, but make sure your boys are also around the night and are also around the other MCs as well, because you know, they might discover their new favorite artist, or they
That's
might
exactly
discover
right.
like another
Yeah.
artist they're big fans of and shit like that. So it's very important that like
And then if they enjoy the entire night as a whole and get their money's worth with the shows they see, they're probably more likely to come to your next shows as well.
facts,
That's it.
yeah.
Especially if there's good people performing.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
100%.
Yeah.
so the next question is well, I won't go into what you're going to release yet, but collaborations with other rappers, and how do you believe the best way to go about it is? And 2, have you got any collaborations coming up that are?
Yeah, sure. I can go into that. So, I would say, like I said, I'm just a rapper, but I'm not a professional rapper. I haven't made it. But my advice would be, is if you're looking to like collab with an artist big, especially one bigger than yourself, or one that has
Yeah.
more of a hype, maybe someone's just dropped like an EP, but you really want to work with them.
Prep.
And
Do
not
not-
necessarily bigger than yourself.
No,
too,
no.
like-
But like, what I mean is like, you've got to do your homework. Don't message any artist being like, "Hey man, do you want to work together?" Yeah, sure. What do you want to work on? I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Have the project ready to go. Think of the artists that you think would sound good on that project, and send them the final copy of it. Being like, "Hey man,
Yeah.
this is the single.
Yeah.
These are my
You've-
bars.
I've
these are my
got
beat.
bars.
Yeah.
Maybe you can work out a hook together afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
But at least have something so that they know what direction you're going in.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard when somebody says, "Hey, let's work on something." It's really hard to decide whether it's something you want to work on if you haven't actually heard anything.
Exactly.
Do you think that's because you're basing, like, let me go back. Let's just say that if you were going to hit up an artist, would you base what you send them, like say, let's just say you've put your beat, you've got the beat, you've put your lyrics down, you've sent it to the artist and say, hey, check this out. Do you reference on what their past tracks are, or do you have a vision in your mind of what you actually?
I sort of like if I like someone enough to want to have them as a collab on a project, I probably heard a fair bit of their shit, and I have some idea about what sort of tracks would fit them. What I've done in the past, right, is when I'm putting like a project together or I'm coming up with features and stuff like that, is like I'll go, okay, I want 2 or 3 features on this project.
Yep.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to send them a Dropbox link of 3 tracks that just have a verse missing, and they can pick what they think they will suit best.
Them,
because because at the end of the day, you can't figure out what somebody's going to vibe to until they've heard it, you know.
Exactly.
And then like by the end, if somebody doesn't get back to me fast enough, they end up with the last one.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, then I have to find somebody else. But it's at the end of the day, it's like you want to have some sort of structure that they can go, yeah, I could write something to this. At the end of the day, writing's not fucking easy, especially to write something that's dope. You know what I mean? Like,
facts.
It's like, people could send me their tracks all day long and I could write them something in 2 seconds. But at the end of the day, I don't want to release anything that I'm not fucking happy with.
Yeah.
So send pretty much finished tracks. It doesn't have to have the hook in it, but it needs to have at least a verse and a beat and an idea of what you're going for.
Yeah, exactly. Something that they can actually like work with and then like produce some
get
good
the theme going or
exactly,
whatever you're doing. Yeah. So with some of the artists that you're collabing with at the moment, you want to name drop? Or?
Yeah, I can name. I'll name drop the few who've like actually committed, because there's, as you guys know, like trying to get artists in like a studio is fucking sometimes it's fucking difficult. So
ta-da!
There we are. So I've got a track coming out which is like a UK garage track.
Nice.
Which is well basically the premise behind that is like we've all just enjoyed like another great Aussie summer.
Yep.
And I know that Aussie summer tracks used to be fucking the thing back in the day.
Yeah.
I wanted my own twist on that.
Barbecue rap.
Yeah, exactly. I can't do barbecue rap. I'm not too good at it. So I was like, what? I want an Aussie summer tune, barbecue rap, but not barbecue rap. So I went I went my own style. I went like UK garage. One guy who's been absolutely killing that lately is like Coda. Coda's just gone to Canada now.
Yep.
He's been absolutely killing that wave. So I was like, yo, like just on the things we were just talking about before, I sent him like the entire track and I was like, can you work with this? And he was like, yeah, man. So he's dropped a verse on it. I know you guys had Az in the studio recently. Az is a big fan of drum and bass. I feel like
he loves it. He fucking loves it.
I honestly feel like people won't be expecting his verse on that track, which I'm super
but
excited for.
I bet you he'll fucking kill it.
Oh, bro, he'll body it. So like, I'm super excited about that. So
that man will body anything he fucking does.
Exactly.
Like,
So and then the last one was Keems is on his drum and bass thing as well. So for him to migrate over to UK garage shouldn't be too difficult either. So those are the 3 dudes who I've hit up. And again, the way I did it was I didn't just hit them up and like, yo, like let's work together. I was like, yo, this is the particular tune. This is my verses on it. Can you kind of follow the melody? Can you kind of follow like the content of it? They've all come back and said yeah, and then like that's how it should do it. Like generally speaking.
And by the way, if somebody like for example, if you're a rapper that's hit up another rapper and you haven't sent them anything in particular, like not even a beat or a verse or anything like that, it's just like, and if that person is taking their time to get back to you, don't take it personally. No. It's not because they don't want to work with you. It's because if you don't give someone a direction,
how they're supposed to
exactly. Facts.
If you don't give someone a direction, they don't know where to work from. And if they are legitimately trying to be a rapper and legitimately trying to do things, they've got enough on their plate as it is.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't give them a sense of direction and like, I can get this done in fucking a couple of hours, then it's going to be put on the back burner until they have nothing to do, which is almost never.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
shout out to Coda as well. Like when I was studying at SAE, he was doing it at the same time, and that guy is a producer in his own right.
100%.
You know what I mean? So that guy is going to go very, very far.
Yeah.
And his how would I say, his diversity of even content is.
Oh mate, he can do it all. Like, I've heard him.
He's very, very good. So I'm actually quite excited to see this track. With
yeah,
you,
man. Yeah,
or the remix at least. So no, it's been great fucking talking to you. One last thing before we wrap it up is we're talking about your influences and all that stuff before.
Yeah.
Who is someone that you think that we should be looking out for? Either new, old, or somebody that somebody doesn't know. not Keems or anybody from WA that you think that we should look out for?
So there's a
I did pull that one out of my hat, but I just thought,
no, it's a good question. All right,
and that's across any genre of hip hop.
Yeah,
as a sense.
So I feel like the best way to answer that is there are very, very talented artists, especially in Perth.
Yep.
But the way I would answer that is looking at the artists who consistently put in the work.
Yep.
And this may not be even an artist that I hang out with or I would consider best bros with.
Yep.
But I recognize the work rate. So there's two artists who I would say. There's Chesco.
Yep.
Who's been absolutely killing it in his own scene. And more in my scene or our local scenes is Misfit as well.
Yep.
His Beamer bars is fucking sick. The fact
I actually haven't checked any of that out yet. I have to have a look.
His
CJ.
Yeah, CJ.
Like boom bap sort of stuff.
It's no, so he can do boom bap. He does grime. He does a little bit of drum and bass type of EDM type of stuff. But the reason why I put his name forward is because he's an unknown artist who I believe deserves a bit more of a spotlight because
100%.
of his consistent work rate. He's constant. He's got a series called Beamer Bars. It's just him rapping in a car. Simple science.
And he's got hands, brother.
Yeah.
He's got hands.
Oh
mate.
yeah, I would.
He's
I would not.
Gold medalist, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's part of the Tough Luck crew. Tough Luck Collective,
Tough Luck
I
killing
think I have heard.
CJ Heskey. He's Mac.
I remember seeing him back in the day.
Man, he is, and I've watched him sort of progress over the years as well, and man, he's just getting better and better.
Yeah, straight up. Man.
Even some of the tracks with him in Type 1, it's just like, whoa. But what Shugs is doing with the Tough Luck boys and stuff like that, that's like Residue. I could go on all day about them guys because I fucking love them. But that's very Misfit, man. Big ups to Misfit.
Big up Misfit, straight up. And
all right, well, I'll ask you one last thing before we get the fuck out of here because we need to wrap it up real soon. What have you got in the works at the moment? We want to give you a little moment to announce what the fuck's happening.
Yeah. So
do some plugs.
I've got the track I Know with a music video dropping at the end of this month in March.
Tell them right in there.
So check out that. The pre-save link to that track will be out probably either tonight or by tomorrow. That's also the track which will have a remix on it. It will have a few artists on it as well. Some people have already mentioned like Coda and Keems. And Asthmatic, so that will be the next one. The next big gig I'm doing is the 1st of April, which is like a drum and bass event, which will have the flyers out fairly soon as well. So I Know's coming out. I'm doing a whole bunch of freestyles as well. In between
I Know the track's called?
Yeah, the track is called I Know.
We'll put a link in the thing.
In the bio.
That's like a UK garage like summer tune. And then after that, I'm doing a bunch of freestyles, doing a few collabs, and then at the end of this year, I'll have my EP dropped, which will be mainly EDM, drum and bass, and like UK garage, like influence type of stuff. Things that you can bring the boys around and be like, fuck yeah, this goes on.
Party tunes.
Yeah, exactly. Party
tunes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm working on.
Now,
Anyway.
Elliot Ness,
Thank you so much, brother.
No,
it
thank
was
you
good
for
to see
having
you.
me, boys.
And hopefully we'll get you on another one once you got
I'd
all
love to come
more-
back and by the end of the year and just be like, yo, like what things did work out, what things didn't work out, and shit like that. So
it'll all work out, my brother. It'll all work out.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep traveling, brother.
Thank you,
Have a
brother.
good one.
All right, everybody. Thank
Catch you
you
guys
for
later.
tuning into the Bear Trap YARNCAST. We've got myself. Lucy
love
Blake,
you.
And my offsider drop there. Thank you for tuning in, and we've got a lot more to come. Mind our technical difficulties. I'll get on top of it soon.
We love you. Have a good one. See ya.
Epstein didn't kill himself. Have a good one.